After losing Dak to an ankle injury, Dallas won just 4 of 11 games. They finished 6-10. Yesterday, the owner and general manager, Jerry Jones, talked about the position Dak is in these talks.
I don't know how you could have any more leverage. His evolving into an NFL quarterback has been nothing short of a perfect picture. He has great ability in my mind to win games. And so he has all the things as substantiated by what we've offered. You wouldn't be offering Dak what's been offered him in the past had you not thought he was very special. The issue is how do you come together, and that's no stranger to me. I've been doing it all my life. I got here putting things together. We've got to get it together.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in those comments. Before I get to the putting things together part for Dan Graziano, let's start with that look on Dominique's face. You are the sort of the representative on this show for Dak, and the guy who signs the checks just said you couldn't have more leverage. What is your reaction?
Man, we about to get paid. Hey, so I think that I think Dak Prescott, I mean, his value, I was concerned when he got hurt because I thought maybe Andy Dalton would come in and they'd be all right and people might say that it's not Dak, and they would be wrong, but that's not what happened. As my man RC said, Andy Dalton came in there and he was turkey bacon. He wasn't the real thing. That offense was not nearly the same. They went to 30th in efficiency with Andy Dalton without Dak Prescott. So this team is bad. You saw Trevor Lawrence when after the semifinal game and someone said something about how his mustache was a little bit wispy. That is their offense without Dak Prescott. It is that mustache. But you add Dak Prescott, suddenly they become Steve Harvey's mustache. It is thick and full and outstanding. They are in dire need of Dak Prescott to come back and resuscitate the desiccated husk of a football team that they are without my man Dak Prescott. Give him all the money.
Okay, that's an excellent speech. I love the fact you began with we. You and Dak are going to get all the money. I like that a lot. So Graziano.
Never met him, but we're best friends.
I've missed asking you this question, Dan, but I feel like I did it every day for about 2 years. Where do we stand in all of this, and how should we expect it to go? Jerry Jones says he's made his career out of putting things together. How does he put this together?
Yeah, right. The worst part about the rule that says you can't negotiate with a franchise player during the season is that we haven't been able to have this conversation since July. So I'm so glad it's back. Look, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys want to pay him. They tried to pay him. He has leverage. He had leverage last year, and that's the main reason the deal isn't done, because he held out to say, hey, unless I get the structure and the contract that I want, every single thing I want, I don't have to sign. I'm going to make $31 million on a franchise tag. That's fine with me. We can try this again next year. And that's where we are. And it's even better for him now because the franchise number is going to be even higher. And there's no reason for Dak Prescott to sign a contract before the franchise tender deadline unless he gets literally every single thing he wants from the Dallas Cowboys.
So, RC, I've got like 15 seconds. Give me the crystal ball. How does this wind up playing out this offseason?
Oh, Dak Prescott's going to be where the money resides. And that's on who? Mary had a little lamb. Dak Prescott's going to get his money. And he got more money or made more money in his absence than he did being present for this team at quarterback. Dak Prescott's going to be one of the top paid players in this league, and he's going to be able to name his price and name his length this time, unlike the last negotiation.
All right, we'll leave it there, but it will be interesting to watch. Shefty said it's going to be the biggest story of the offseason. Running back Miles Sanders said yesterday that nobody on the team was in favor of the decision to pull quarterback Jalen Hurts in favor of Nate Sudfeld during a 3-point game early in the fourth quarter against Washington on Sunday night. Here was what Sanders said.
Man, if I'm being honest, nobody liked the decision. Nobody, and that's all I could say, really. But I don't know who was the main person behind that decision. But all I know is a lot of people on the team was confused.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks here. Ryan Clark, one of the things that I think fans love about football is that almost no games are meaningless. There are a lot of meaningless games in other sports, and one of the things about pro football is that generally the players don't treat even the meaningless ones like they're meaningless, and you gave a great example of that earlier this morning. Fire everybody up.
I wasn't necessarily trying to fire everybody up, Greeny, but I was just saying what it was, and it might have made me stupid. I remember going into one of the games at the end of the season. We were playing the Cleveland Browns. Both teams were out of the playoffs. I believe this was year 11 for me. And I remember I had a streak of 100 tackle years going, and I wanted to finish my career on that streak. And I think I was 9 tackles away from getting it. I believe I finished with 102 or something that year, but it was important to me to get to that milestone. It was important to me to play extremely hard to get there. And I was tweeting with Marcus Spears yesterday, and they were kind of talking about old players or former players forgetting what they felt about that last game. My deal was I wanted to hear my name called as much as possible in stadiums, because unlike a lot of people that was on the team with me, they got their names called on draft weekend. And so any opportunity I got to go out on the field, I was going to play hard. I was going to try to win. Now, I understand organizations see things different ways, but when your organization sees things those different ways, then tell us. Communicate to us. Let us know what our objective is this week. And I think another part, something I was thinking about, in my second to last game of my career, we played the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, I was playing for Washington at the time. We were terrible. We were not going to go to the playoffs. We had already been eliminated. I finished with 20 tackles that game. I think 18, 19, 20 tackles. I got all these calls from Pittsburgh. They stayed. It was a Saturday night. They stayed after dinner to watch me. And I just remember not thinking one time during that game that we were out of the playoffs. Not thinking one time during that game that it was meaningless. All I kept thinking was the fact that every time I got close to LaShawn McCoy, his eyes got this big because he understood I didn't care about the schedule. I didn't care about the records. And that's how some people are. And for those people, what Doug Peterson did is unacceptable.
That's why Ryan Clark is a starter on my team. When I have a team, I'm starting RC. Dominique, your skepticism is putting you in serious jeopardy of not being on my team.
Yeah, that's fine. Ryan Clark is not normal. Like, the idea that other people are like that is insane. There's 2 or 3 players that I've played with in my entire career that I know are like that. And the thing about a guy like Ryan Clark is, the reason why this is interesting is putting Sudfeld in is annoying, but it don't matter. You just heard it. It don't matter what you do on the opposite side of the ball. It don't matter what you do with the other safety or linebackers. Ryan Clark is going to go out there and throw his body into people and try to get